Hey guys, Youngblood Fantasy 91 here. Today I'm going to discuss something that's really serious, and I'm going to discuss something that might affect everyone on this website, and everyone else for that matter on the internet. There's something that's been going around called the Stop Online Piracy Act, which was first proposed in October 26th. And basically what it's going to do is going to put a chokehold on the internet industry, put a chokehold on anything we know is open source content, and destroy the internet for everybody. Because people in Congress don't even care about the nature of the technological industry, don't even care how we can create 2.6 jobs every one job that it's lost, because the internet is a very open system where anyone can get involved, where it is multifarious in and of itself, where at any point in time we could innovate something with the use of the internet, because obviously it is a forum for discussion, for an intellectual discussion, and most importantly, it helped us connect with each other, especially to foreign websites, because obviously it promotes a global identity. But nope, that's going to be thrown into the trash, because the people at Congress care more about intellectual property and the fact that they can generalize what intellectual property is, not to mention the fact that it's written so vaguely that anything could be a target of it. Anything. YouTube, Yahoo, Google, you name it, it's there. But of course, the people who are very soft in the head, like the Motion Picture Association of America and other unions, again with the damn unions ruining our lives, other people and other organizations like that lending their support to it, is all a huge farce. The reason they're lending their support is because they can get money out of this, and because they're drawn by their own avaricious notions that the internet is the worst thing to happen to them, when they themselves have probably used it from time to time, when the organizations themselves have probably used it from time to time to get information, and maybe, you know what, maybe even use Wikipedia too. I don't even know. Those people are just lending their support for a political agenda and for political advantage. Honestly, these people need to reevaluate who they are, because honestly, the internet is a major forum for discussion. The internet is an infinite oyster in a way, because we could do whatever we want on here, and that is the freedom that allows for technical innovation, especially with the invention of the search engine, especially with the invention of Wikipedia to an extent, and especially with open source content like Google and YouTube, because honestly, those websites allowed for us, to take a visceral experience from the internet, and that experience is just unparalleled in today's society. And honestly, what they're expecting to do is put a chokehold on all this. Say to us, you don't need an internet anymore. The newer generation can't survive without it, but that doesn't matter because, we're the government. We hate intellectual property. If we hate one thing, everyone's going to agree with us because we're the government and we assume that we're always right. We're the government and we assume that we can do whatever we want. We're the government and we assume that if we put any sort of limitations, holders, anything like that on any part of our industry, we feel that we've done something right, because we know in our consciences that we can get reelected, that we're going to get voter support, and most importantly, that we line our pockets with money, because all we do is fraternize with our greed rather than talk to our constituents about anything. Because if they're set on one thing, they are the most stubborn people I've ever come across. Anything that they feel is worth their time, they do it. Whether it's frivolous or whether it's something like this, where it can produce a deleterious effect on the economy and on us as individuals and on anything that includes international relations. Because let me tell you something, if SOPA is going to be put in place, international relations will fall. In fact, Europe has already developed a program to stop unilateral IP banning like this. This is ridiculous. I hate it when people run on whatever greed they have in their heads just so they can protect something known as, quote, intellectual property, unquote. And they don't even outline what it is. And besides, Pfizer even brought up, and other people who criticize Pfizer bring up that they don't even specify between pharmacies that are reliable and pharmacies that are counterfeit. And if they can't understand that, then international relations between Canada is also going to sink, and other countries, because this sort of lack of language and lack of elaboration is what's going to ruin us. It's what's going to ruin the internet, and it's what's going to ruin everyone else on here. Truthfully, this bill is not even needed. This bill is only there to promote the sad agendas of our government and its supporters. The Motion Picture Association of America, no matter how prolific they were in the movie industry, is doing the wrong thing. They are ruining themselves by doing so, because what they're doing is placing a chokehold on an ever-growing industry. Remember how the movie industry was growing back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s? Well, what if we go back in time and say, oh, well, let's just destroy the movie companies because they're creating intellectual property that we feel is infringing on other people. Well, you know what would happen back then? Paramount, excuse me, I had like a brain freeze there. Let me see. Paramount, Fox, and other major companies like Universal probably wouldn't have existed back then. Okay, because they placed a chokehold on the growing movie industry. That's what they're doing. Okay? Trying to destroy things from the inside out because they have a freakishly strange agenda. Because what they're doing is destroying the American identity and the world identity through the use of the internet. You know, other countries, like, I don't know, China does the same thing, and they're a communist nation. We're not communist. We're a capitalist-based nation. And if we're just going to impose things like this as if it were a communist nation, then I fear for the American economy and I fear for the American government because they're sliding towards a sad inevitability. They're going to phase out everything. They're going to censor everything because obviously anything we do here is impure in their eyes. And there's also growing backlash, and I really think that this backlash should increase even more. I know that there are lots of industries on the backs of the government right now, you know, kissing their asses. But I think if we continue to fight against it, there's going to be some voice heard in Congress, and I feel there's going to be some voices heard. So I urge you all to go find the nearest SOPA website where they don't want SOPA in action. Sign the petitions, sign, and for God's sake, make sure this idiocy isn't passed in the American Congress. Because let me tell you something, gents. If this happens, it only proves to us that the people in government need to be taken out. We need change that doesn't involve shortchanging the American economy and the internet and anything for that matter. That involves growth of economy and growth of jobs, which is what they want apparently. But I guess if they want to degrade the internet, they're doing something counterintuitive, and they're major, major hypocrites. And that's all I really have to fucking say. The people there at Congress need to understand that we're people too. We're not soulless entities like they are. And I'm tired of this nonsense. SOPA should not be passed, and people need to understand that the whole bill is a giant farce. People like Google, YouTube, Mozilla, people like Twitter, Reddit, AOL, LinkedIn, eBay, Mozilla, and Wikimedia Foundation, the Brookings Institution, and other human rights organizations, they need to emphatically remind us that there is reason in this world. And you know what? The Electronic Frontier Foundation also needs to, you know, enforce that as well. And even the ACLU, the people that the conservatives feel is a threat on America, they're lending their support too against SOPA, against the passing of SOPA. And if you see that, then that pretty much shows how stupid people believe this bill is. And that's all I have to say. I really hope that Congress makes the right decision, because honestly, we've seen them fuck up in the past, but let's make sure that they don't fuck up even further. This is Youngblood Fantasy 91. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you all on the brighter later.